Geekiverse. My name is Josiah Leroy. This is Jeff, Lauren, Austin Bruner, and Pete. We're here today talking about Star Wars The Force Awakens and predictions and theories. You know I've been waiting for this one for a while. That being said, right off the bat, I wrote an article for the Geekiverse.com regarding some of my thoughts that have been brewing since I've seen the original trailer. But with each subsequent trailer, I don't know if they're releasing anything that could be spoilery or if this is just J.J. Abrams and his trickery, going back to Star Trek and him swearing up and down that Khan was not in Star Trek Into Darkness. Without further ado...
He really wasn't.
Okay. So he wasn't lying.
Yeah, that wasn't Khan. That wasn't Ricardo Montalban.
So, Star Wars. Rey is a Solo or a Skywalker? I say absolutely no doubt in my mind. Maybe 99%. Maybe there's a little doubt. I think she is a Solo. Jeff, what do you think?
I'm not sure, but I kind of lean towards Skywalker, to be perfectly honest.
Okay, I can see either way.
That shot of Kylo Ren holding the lightsaber up to her throat, I just feel that, when I look at that picture, I get the sense that he's going after her for a reason. I don't think it's happenstance that they came together.
Okay, you don't think... So, based on that theory, like, she could be Leia's daughter. He could be trying to get to, Uncle Luke, if you will, that way.
Yeah.
So,
That's important to point out.
Yeah.
She shot him.
She did. I think it's been set up since Daisy Ridley was announced as Rey. She looks like Shmi Skywalker. She looks like Natalie Portman. She resembles Carrie Fisher. Whether that's by design to throw us off or not, I will know in T-minus 3 weeks or so. That's kind of my own thought. Any other thoughts on Rey? Is she Skywalker or Solo, or is she a new character? Lauren?
Not a new character. Definitely not a new character.
Or an unrelated character, I should say.
No, I still think that Leia and Han made a Rey.
Okay. They made a Rey.
Made a Rey.
A Ray of Sunshine.
She just, I don't know. Definitely, she looks like Leia's daughter, and when I see her, I just see Natalie Portman, 100%. Like, they could not have picked an actress that...
It's gotta be.
That resembles Natalie so well, where it could not be related.
Okay. Gotcha. Austin, are you in the same camp there?
I have no clue.
I was trying to help you out there.
Yeah, I appreciate it. But knowing what I do know about Star Wars, I would say that because the characters are so similar, there's probably a swerve in there. So it's probably not what you think.
Okay.
That's me not having a clue and trying to get in there.
He's going with the misled theory. Okay.
Yes, misled theory. There we go.
Pete.
No, I definitely think that she's got to be she's the awakening force, I think.
Okay. Force Awakens towards her.
Yeah. I'm not sure whether she's a Solo or a Skywalker.
Absolutely.
But really, she's a Skywalker, right?
Either way.
Either way, she's a Skywalker.
True.
I'm going to be interested to see what the relationship between Han and Leia was. I absolutely assumed, as did I think a lot of people, that after 6, they got together.
Well, the lore in the tons of books that came out said they did.
Yeah.
And they had 3 kids.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Where's number 3?
Well, she's one.
If we're assuming...
If I'm assuming she's one, I guess I should probably jump to that one next because that's a pretty good segue. Kylo Ren is also, therefore, maybe a twin, a Skywalker or Solo. There's a million ways you can look at this movie. A million. And that may not be an exaggeration. Is Kylo Ren Rey's brother? The family's clearly prone to dark times. I mean, Skywalker's made it tough. It's like the whole New York City and Marvel thing over again, you know?
But then you have that whole, Disney took over Star Wars thing, so are they getting away from that universe and completely doing their own thing?
That was my hope as well, but I think they're tying it back because this is their first foray into Star Wars.
I think the world will explode. It'll look like the Avengers Battle of New York City if they step too far away from established canon.
I think so too.
Mm-hmm. I don't think they have any desire to do that. I think that, you saw the vitriol in 1, 2, and 3.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
people were furious. That's part of the reason that George Lucas walked away and said, I'm not doing any more of these. Forget it. You people are, you know, like, and
That sucks.
He was much nicer than me, by the way.
This is my movie.
Right.
That's
Like
You
your
guys-
own did.
When you have a place called Skywalker Ranch, you can make your movie. So, you know.
It's very true.
Right.
And I couldn't agree more.
I mean,
that's sad that he had to walk away because I mean, he got a $4 billion check. I'm not gonna
He's
play.
got 4 billion reasons to be perfectly happy letting Disney walk away with, you know, and do it. But I don't think that they're gonna do it because I don't think that they want people to walk away from it. And people will. I mean, Star Wars fans are die hard. So I think it's gonna stick pretty close to canon. And, you know, we'll see what happens. I hadn't really thought of the idea of Kylo Ren as a sibling to Rey.
Yeah.
I could buy that.
He now, I mean, the Kylo Ren debate is interesting because my hope was that he was a brand new, unrelated character. That hopefully Rey was blood and he was just some villain.
Why was that your hope?
Because I think at this point, I have no problem continuing on the Solo / Skywalker legacy to branch off into a different universe eventually. I think they can do either a trilogy or just a few movies here with the next generation. And harping on that point, I think Disney has all but shunned the prequels for the time being, because that was a sore topic for a while with a lot of Star Wars fans, understandably, I guess. I love the prequels. Episode 1, I could take or leave. Talk for another time. But that being said, I think that they have really harped on the nostalgia of the late 70s, early 80s. That Star Wars Battlefront, which just came out for Xbox One and PS4, that is 100% old trilogy.
How do you think that they've shunned the prequels, other than what I consider to be the best decision of the whole thing, to go back to using real sets and real locations as opposed
Big part of it.
as opposed to CG?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like I think that's important.
I think CG should supplement, but not necessarily
And
take
it's,
over.
and
Which
it's
it did.
going to. I mean, if you've seen
have to.
if you've seen any set shots at all, there's green screens all over the place
Oh, yeah.
that they're sliding in there. But it's, you know, I think that was a great decision to make it
I agree.
epic and true to the original stuff.
Mhm.
And I think that's also a high five to George Lucas. You know, like, we own your company now, but you know what you did the first time around that people really loved, we're gonna do that again.
Totally.
You know,
Totally.
So,
And, well, I mean, with regards to the prequel point, any media, whether it's games or comic books, any supporting novels, there's at least 20, I'm probably shortchanging it, novels tied into the era between Episode 6, Return of the Jedi, and this. There are 7 different comic book series, individual, whether it's Darth Vader or Princess Leia. None of them have anything to do with the prequels. The closest one is Kanan, which is from Star Wars Rebels, which is, again, between 3 and 4, but it is what I would argue the dividing point that brings it closer to the classic trilogy.
Right, it's closer to the 4, 5, 6 than 1, 2, 3.
Exactly.
I watched it.
I think they did a good job in bringing back a lot of Star Wars fans that just did not like that prequel trilogy. And I think you're right when it comes to the CG versus the, I guess for lack of a better term, the actual effects. Real life puppets, kind of things like that. And there is never, I don't think at least in my life, more hype for a movie than this. And it's not just because I'm a Star Wars fan, but it's arguable regardless. It's up there, and it's because they've brought in both generations.
yeah, I won't argue that.
It's crazy.
$50 million from Fandango alone.
Fandango alone, and
And we're still 3 weeks out from the release of the movie.
great point. Leading into my next point, or next prediction or theory, Han and/or Chewbacca die in this
No.
one. Yeah.
I don't think you can do it. I
Kill
think-
Han.
Oh,
Speaking
I
of-
don't think
Kill Han.
No.
I love Han.
Can you kill Harrison Ford? Probably not.
Not until the very end, I don't think.
He wanted to go and he didn't go.
He didn't
so.
want to be a part of. He wanted to go out in basically a big fireball in Return of the Jedi, and Lucas thought that was too dark. And I kind of agree. I like the way Return of the Jedi ended.
Yeah, me too.
Is that possible? We see Rey crying frantically over a character in the final theatrical trailer. Is that Finn, one of the new characters, John Boyega's character, or is that Han? Is it Chewbacca? I don't know.
If you look at it, I mean,
I think it's meant to be Fur.
You know,
but it's a tease.
It's meant to be Chewie. Like they
Can't
give
kill
you
the Phantom
they
Path.
give you
You can't
just
kill Chewie.
enough to make you fully believe that that is Chewie. And if they do, I'm gonna be writing a very strong worded letter.
Disney will have some angry fans.
Dear Mr. Disney.
How
Disney, I'm
dare
very
you.
disappointed with the decision to kill Chewbacca.
Do you remember that very first book in the Long War when Chewbacca was killed off?
Chewbacca does die in the what is now Legacy, no longer canon Star Wars books,
And the
But
just
does
the
he?
backlash,
to save Han's son.
yes, the backlash that was against just the author alone, never mind the publisher. It was insane.
It's an emotional read. I've read it.
But even if he dies, can he die? Because look at Darth Maul.
Who? Chewbacca or Han?
No, like if Chewie or Han dies, can they really die?
Well, they're not force sensitive, so I wouldn't worry about
Okay.
it. And Harrison Ford is 72.
Yeah, he's
He may
done.
not want to do
Right, he's
more.
done. But
Now's
he,
the time
But
to
he
kill
doesn't
him.
have to die
Oh.
in order for that to happen. I mean,
Which I'd be happy if he went off and retired. You know.
I wouldn't be surprised in my world if the first movie has some of the older characters and then it just transitions away from them.
That was
Like-
my thought too.
Like they're handing off the torch is basically what it is. And maybe because in my mind again, I think that Luke is the replacement for Obi-Wan. He can stick around for a while and continue on to sort of nurture the next generation of Jedis, and then after 3 he can disappear.
Another really good segue. It's like Pete's reading my mind. We didn't even go over notes before, so that's impressive. I agree. Next point being Luke Skywalker is probably the new Ben Kenobi. Mark Hamill is confirmed for Star Wars Episode 8.
Right.
Only him and Oscar Isaac, who plays Poe Dameron, the new starfighter pilot in this. Is Luke Kylo Ren? Is that stupid to say?
Where is he? Where is Luke in this promotion? Haven't seen him in the trailers. Haven't seen him.
Have we though?
Where
Right.
is he?
Is he on the
Have
poster? We
know.
don't know.
Where is he?
Well, here's the thing. One of the things that we're gonna have a conversation about it at some point in time. The Suicide Squad, having Jared Leto tweeting pictures of himself as the characters and stuff like that, like years in advance. Like the marketing that these big epic films are doing now is spectacular. And really, what's everybody talking about now? Everybody's talking about this film. You're talking about the most hyped film of all times, and I would agree with that. And why is that? Because we're all dying to find out what happened to Luke, because J.J. Abrams or whoever made that decision, could be somebody at Disney Studios, was like, drop him out of the trailer. Let's watch the collective world explode, because nobody knows, right? So
We're here today talking about it.
right, I
Right.
think
Right.
it's an unbelievable marketing decision to do that.
I hope so, because I don't want Luke to be a bad
And it
guy.
may never point to anything.
I grew up my whole life knowing that Luke Skywalker was the
I
good
mean,
guy.
There's just no way that.
So you think
there's
it's a
no-
big red herring?
It could be.
Okay.
And J.J. Abrams is known for,
Yeah, very
not
true.
exactly.
He's tricky.
Right, he's tricky, which is good, because he knows that you have to put out these epic trailers,
Mhm.
and you gotta put out 30 of them leading up to the thing, right?
Which they probably have. The TV spots that come out every day for this, I cannot watch anymore.
Right.
But I still, at the same time, feel like we know nothing about this movie, which is crazy.
Right.
For all that we've seen, all these iconic shots, or what I think will become iconic shots, I should
Right.
say.
And we're all gonna sit there and go, oh, right?
Another
You got us,
JJ.
That's exactly what's gonna happen, because he's a master of it, Disney's a master of it. I mean, I'm a little concerned at the end of the day that Disney now owns every major franchise in the world. Like,
Oh.
they own Marvel, they own ABC, they own, now they own Lucasfilms. Like, it's gonna be, you guys are way too young to to remember this, but when I was growing up, the first push to generic food happened. Like right now, generic food is Tops branded stuff or Wegmans branded stuff or supermarket branded stuff. But it was generic back then, so it was just like a yellow can with black letters that said beans. And that was it. And they did everything from soda pop to whatever. And I'm afraid that Disney gets too big for their britches in this whole thing because they're gonna own everything. They're gonna own all of the great stuff. So.
It's not a bad point.
I mean, Austin, like you said, you're not crazy into Star Wars, like say the rest of us are. But like,
Right.
what's
We're
your
letting you stay in.
yeah?
Thank you.
What's your take on it when you see just how divided and just how thought provoking everything is from this, like from the outside looking?
Yeah,
at it, from
now
your
I want to
perspective?
see it. Just
Yeah.
listening to this conversation because, like you said, there were a lot of. I watched the trailer just before we started filming, and there's just a lot of things that I do recognize from the little bit I do know of Star Wars.
Right.
And now that we're talking about it and how divided you guys are, I feel like we need to set up a little time and place where we can all go and watch it together, and then I can just pick your brains afterwards.
Yeah.
It's very intriguing how much division there is between you guys, because like you said, I grew up too knowing that Luke Skywalker was the good guy from what little I do know, and now that the
He's
thought,
still the good guy.
well, now he can
I
be
don't
the
know
bad
that,
guy,
though.
right? Now he can be
My
the bad
world
guy.
could be
like-
rocked.
and that would rock my world too, as not an avid Star Wars fan. It's just like, a come and go Star Wars fan. So there's a lot to be wanted from this movie, and now I kind of want to see it, even
Luke
if it's
was-
$15.
Jeff, Lauren, and I will be there 10 o'clock opening night. Actually, pre-opening night.
That's
So,
right.
And it comes out on Christmas, correct?
No.
oh, December 17th. Well, Christmas time. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. No, that's
So
what we meant.
that's like a Thursday. Okay. I'm trying to do math in my head. It's not good.
If it did
We'll
come
move
out, if it did come out on Christmas, nobody would be celebrating Christmas in America that day.
Star Wars would be bigger than
Yes.
Christmas.
Yes.
Day,
Did
right?
they cancel Christmas?
Possibly.
It's fine.
The gift is being at the theater, right? my thought on this is
They postponed Christmas.
December 26th, Christmas.
See, Disney's taking over.
oh no, the major
Can't
holidays.
trust Disney.
One at a time, folks. One at a time. So I think Luke is ultimately good. I hope that doubt in my mind is just I don't know. I just hope it's wrong. Anyway, I think he shows up at the end of episode 7, which might be a little disappointing because we've seen shots of him in the robe and the beard. Obviously, good marketing.
He looks fantastic.
He looks awesome. He looks like Alec Guinness did when he was Obi-Wan in 1977.
He
And
looks like a Jedi.
lost a lot of weight. Looks really good. Mark Hamill himself,
Yeah.
like, really got in shape for this movie.
Yeah.
So it's
And he's doing other things now too.
Right.
Like
Yes.
he's
doing things again. He
Right.
wasn't for a while.
well, his thing was voiceover for the most part. He was voicing over movies and things like that for a long time.
Brilliant.
the
voice-
Joker.
But he
brilliant
is
voice
not.
actor.
He's
By the way.
one of the better Joker voices.
Yes.
But he's doing. He's on third episode maybe of Flash.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So he's coming back again this season. I think I read someplace as the Trickster again. So he'll be. He's in front of the camera again.
He was
He was on
cameo in
Kingsman, right? Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
which was
Oh,
great.
right,
He sounded
right.
like the Joker.
Yeah, he
And,
did.
You're right. So hopefully
He'll be voicing Joker in Killing Joke DC animated film. coming
that's
up.
true. That's true. That'll lead into a good Joker debate, I'm
Yeah.
sure. But,
So where do we stand on Kylo Ren?
Kylo Ren.
He's not Luke Skywalker. Is that what we mostly believe that?
I was very adamant about that he wasn't.
Until
Jeff introduced that
This
to me.
guy.
This guy introduced that thought to me. I reintroduced it because it was always a little speculation. Look,
Yeah.
Kylo Ren, but Adam Driver is supposed to be playing Kylo Ren. He has. I've never seen his face, except for in one of the magazine photo shoots that they did. That is a thin guy that's in those fights. It fits Adam Driver's build, his long hair, which he doesn't have a mask on, but you see from behind. Again, it's all really good marketing because there's no way we
it's
can answer
spectacular.
any of these questions as much as we want to. We can almost kind of answer them, but we're really still just guessing.
Until you pay $15 to get
So you
that
pay
ticket.
$15, and I know
Yeah.
people that are seeing it 4 times in the first 2
Oh,
days.
of
That's
course.
probably nothing.
Yes.
They're theater hopping. So
Well, they're just
They're
takes a
crank.
couple people to ruin it for the rest of us. Now, people won't be able to get tickets because they're seeing it too many times.
Exactly.
We're gonna
Yeah,
have
the
to
extra
pass a
Force
law
Awakens
against
tickets.
that.
do your civic duty and make sure someone can buy them at a little bit of a profit. So that's, I guess, Kylo Ren. I stand. He's a Vader obsessor or obsessed with Vader. I think he is Supreme Leader Snoke's left hand, right hand guy, and I think I hope he is as good as he's cracked up to be in these trailers, and that he really is that real tough guy, that intimidating guy that he looks like he is. I hope that continues.
Well, it's a hard mask to fill, if you will.
Yes, it is.
You know, we've had 6 or 5.5, 4.5 episodes of Darth Vader,
Yes,
and
iconic.
right, how do you fill that? Maybe Darth Vader's not gone.
Dun, dun,
and another segue. That was my other thought, is that Kylo Ren is trying to resurrect Vader. I mean, this is getting into really deep, funky Star Wars territory,
Okay.
but midichlorians are what created Vader originally. Think about what... Okay, yeah, that's enough. Think about what you want with Episode 1. That's canon. That happened. He was influenced by these midichlorians, essentially by Palpatine's master. So why couldn't he be brought back if he was created by these midichlorians, if you will? That's a thought. It may be far-fetched. He may just have Vader's mask as kind of a treasure, that he's this Sith worshipper. But you can't take anything off the table with this movie.
No.
Not at all.
Every theory is fair game.
It is. It's crazy. I did write a piece for it. I will plug that. If you go to Geekiverse.com, just search The Force Awakens. Leave some comments. I really do want to talk about this a little more.
If you can't tell, he can go for hours about this. So.
Yeah. Austin's already rolling his eyes.
No, not in that way. Not in that way. No.
I don't think you can bring Anakin Skywalker back as Vader. I think not only has he passed on, but he's also redeemed.
I sure
True.
hope so.
At the
I hope
end,
it stays that way.
at the end of episode 6,
Mhm.
you see him with his old friends Yoda
True.
and Ben, and so I don't see any good way you can bring Anakin back as Darth Vader, but I am holding out hope that Darth Vader returns, but more in the form of somebody picking up the mantle.
Like Marvel, with different characters being different.
Well, and
Superheroes, maybe.
like Darth Vader is such an iconic bad guy, and most of the galaxy probably doesn't know that.
He's gone.
Well, they probably, because we're talking about 40 years or 35 years or something after, what's that?
They said about 30 years.
Right, okay, so they're probably like, you know, I imagine like at Galactic Thanksgiving, they're like, where's Uncle Darth?
We haven't seen him in 30 years.
Right, so I think they probably, okay with him gone, but they, you know, there was very few people that saw that end scene where you see the 3 of them return. So I think at the end of the day, and I made this connection, if you guys are Princess Bride fans, Darth Vader as the Dread Pirate Roberts.
Right.
So somebody else, some other bad guy, picking up the mantle because he represents big, scary, you know what I mean? Like, he's already got a brand.
Exactly.
So you don't need to start over as bad guy. You just need somebody who can step into that. And
Where's his mouse? Guy behind the sheet, right?
exactly. And it doesn't matter who the guy behind the sheet is. So
Exactly.
yeah.
That's a really good point too. It's something
Yeah.
I had not really pondered. So I like that one too. But
More theories.
more yeah, we could go all day with that one. But I think the last thought actually I had on Force Awakens that you mentioned was Hayden Christensen was rumored, like it or not, his performance in episode 2 and 3 as Anakin, by a reputable Star Wars fan site, albeit a fan site, but still, they reported that he had reported in for shooting with Mark Hamill. Maybe that's a flashback scene. Maybe he's appearing as a ghost. Maybe he's not. Maybe it's a little bit more. Maybe he is, coming back. So that's kind of crazy to think about. But I think that's a good way to leave things going into episode 8, if that is true.
We're leaving things with Hayden Christensen?
I thought he was a good Anakin, for the record.
I didn't
That's the
hate him.
Anakin George Lucas wanted. I know he was whiny and insecure, but
But
guess
he's
what?
supposed
That's
to be whiny and
why-
insecure.
Right, no, I didn't hate him. I mean,
I did.
It's,
Get out.
I didn't
Leave.
hate him.
Good. So on that note,
I didn't hate
Force
the whole the prequels, I didn't hate them at all.
I didn't hate him either.
You know, I mean, some were better than others, but.
True, true.
I hated the departure from real live action stuff to
Agreed.
90% computer graphic. You know, like that was just, it changed the look, it changed the feel of the whole thing.
Old is new again.
Yeah, I agree.
I think we can agree that Force Awakens is going to end with something big. They're gonna leave us there.
And then we'll speculate for the next 2 years.
Exactly.
Job security.
That's more content for us,
It's,
yeah.
it's
No
gonna
complaints.
make people
Not
chomping
a
at the
bad
bit.